Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Inkwell Notes. For today's video, I just wanted to share my thoughts on the Keyno Stationery fountain pen and the matching ink Cherishment number 14, both made by Dominant Industry. I did buy these a few months ago, around April, so I have been using them for a little while now. And today I'll just be talking about why I bought the pen and what I like about the pen and the ink, and maybe a few things I don't love and whether I think they're worth the price. To be completely honest, a little bit of FOMO definitely played a part. So when this pen was first released, I saw so many photos and videos of it online and it seemed to sell out really quickly. So yeah, that was one of the reasons why I got this set. And I also realized that I didn't really have any light pink or any light colored fountain pen in my collection, so I thought it would be something a little different. You may or may not already know that this is actually the first fountain pen from Dominant Industry. They are much more well known for their inks, so I was curious to see what one of their pens would be like. And I was feeling a little spontaneous, so I decided to place an order. At the time when I bought this pen, this was 180 Australian dollars, and I got it from a shop called So and So. They are based in Sydney, and yeah, at the time they were the only shop selling this pen and the ink. Because I got this in April, I have already unboxed the pen and the ink. I just put them back in their boxes so that you can see the presentation when I first received it. I will give credit to Dominant Industry because they did such a beautiful job putting this pen together. Like, the presentation is very nice. Now, the thing that really sold me on this pen was definitely the hotel key theme. Like, this is meant to be like the key to room number 14 Cherishment. You can also see here this keyhole design, and it says here on the other side of the box, check into your next luminous chapter. So when you first open the box, you do get these two cards. This one is the warranty card from the retailer. So I'm just going to put that on the side. And then you do also get this invitation ticket, which I think is a very cute addition. You can see the small details here. In this card, you can see 3 journal prompts for self-check-in. So the first one is who or what makes you feel happy just by thinking about them, and what scene comes to mind when you think of them. And the last question is if you were to capture this feeling in one sentence, what would you write? I think those are really nice journal prompts. I don't know what to use this card for, but it's free ephemera, so I'm just gonna put that on the side as well. Here is the pen. Included in the set is also a keychain. It does remind me of the keychain that you see with old hotel room keys, just like this one here in the illustration. So I think that's a very nice addition, and it really goes well with the whole like hotel key theme. This is such a gorgeous pen. Like, look at the details of this pen. It is just stunning. And one thing I did notice is that the promotional photos made the pen look a little more warmer and rosier pink, but in person, it's actually a very soft, like muted, powdery pastel pink. And I was actually a little surprised that it has a lot of like blue colors. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but it's definitely not just pink. I still think this is such a beautiful design. You can see here that the clip resembles an old-fashioned hotel key, and you can even see like the little keyholes wrapped around the cap. I think that's a very nice detail. And then the top finial, it's like a jewel almost. You can see here, it also matches the barrel of the pen. And I really like the rose gold accents on this pen. The bottom finial also has that keyhole design, which I think is a really nice touch. So the cap unscrews very smoothly, and it only took about one turn to remove. The nib also has its own custom engraving instead of like a plain stock nib, and I got this in a medium nib. Whenever I buy a fountain pen, I always go for a medium. I think it's always a safe choice. Apart from the custom engraving, the nib also has like a keyhole there in the middle. It is very consistent with their hotel key theme. Yeah, I think this is such a beautiful nib. It just makes the pen feel a little more special. And another nice thing about the pen is it does come with an ebonite feed, and ebonite feeds are just made from a different material that's often used on higher end fountain pens because apparently it can hold and deliver ink really well. So that is a nice premium touch that you don't always see on modern pens. Moving on to the matching ink. This is actually my very first ink from Dominant Industry. This one is also very consistent to the theme of the pen. And I really like the fact that it came in this very nice pouch. And then this is the ink. Again, I have already opened this and have inked my pen with this ink. It also came with this little card. Okay, so for this ink swatch that I'm going to do, I'm going to use the Col O-Ring ink testing book, and I'll also use the ink muddler, which is also from Dominant Industry. I really like this ink muddler. It's very tiny and it's very cute, but it's just comfortable enough even though I have like larger hands. This is the swatch that I've done. I'm just going to put this on the side. I'm going to show you now a writing sample. Now, the pen is quite comfortable to hold. It's very light in the hand. I do like to use my pens posted. It's actually not back heavy, so it's quite comfortable in my hand like this. But it's also very comfortable unposted, so it really comes down to your preference. But for me, I just like to post my pens. Okay, so this is the writing sample, and here is the ink swatch. So overall, I really like the color. Like Cherishment number 14 has a very soft, muted, dusty pink. It does have like a very nice shading to it. It's not a bright bubblegum pink or a vibrant rose color. Instead, it has a gentle, like slightly vintage look that really matches the overall aesthetic of the pen. I like how the ink dries down. You can see a bit of shading in it. It doesn't have any shimmer or any sheen, and it's the kind of color that's legible enough that will work well enough for journaling or decorating the pages. One thing I did notice though is that the ink writes drier compared to my Pilot Irishizuku inks. So because I really love the ink, I didn't want to give up on it yet. So thankfully, I did find an easy solution. So when I went to South Korea, I actually got this Swan elixir from Wearing Gold. It is an ink flow enhancer, so you just add a few drops of it into your ink and then it will just improve the overall ink flow. Like I don't know what magic is in this, and I think it really worked really well after that. I'll show you my initial like writing sample. So this is how it looks like on Midori paper when I first did a pen test. I'm not sure if you can see it in camera, but it's very pale. Like in contrast to this one, like this is darker. I mean, I'm not sure if it's because of the paper, but you can see that this is definitely a bit lighter than this one. When I first tried the pen, I was honestly a bit disappointed with the experience because it wrote really dry and I thought it was the pen that was the problem. So what I did was I tested the ink on different pens. So I tried it on my Pilot Kakuno, and normally the Pilot Kakuno is a very wet writer for me. And I also tried the ink using the Sailor Hokoro Dip pen with a medium nib. It behaved differently here, like it seemed to be more saturated, but I still wasn't very happy with the outcome. Like here, I even wrote a little entry. I said, it looks like the ink is about to run out. I love the color of the ink, but it is really inconsistent so far. So comparing it to my pen test today, you can really see the difference in how the ink behaved after I added the ink flow enhancer. I'm going to do a pen test in the Midori notebook. Now it's very smooth, but it does have a very subtle feedback. So this is a very nice ink flow now. Okay, so going back to my first pen test. So this was from April and this is from today. So this one definitely wrote a bit drier compared to this one now. So this was such a big help in improving the flow of the ink. I'm actually thinking of just putting the elixir here, but I'm not going to do that in case I want to sell this ink in the future. The pen did come with a free converter. You can see the ink sloshing around. Because the pen was writing very dry at first, I did change the ink at one point. Because I was very unhappy with the performance of the ink, I ended up buying the Pilot Irishizuku Hana Ikada, and this is the pen test that I did. This one is a very pale pink, but the flow was definitely so much better, and that's how I confirmed that the problem wasn't the pen, but it was the ink. So yeah, I'm so happy that I got the ink flow enhancer because it definitely made the experience so much better. Okay, so overall, I'm really happy to have this pen in my collection. I think it's one of the prettiest modern fountain pens I've owned, and the hotel key concept is just something a little different from everything else that is out there. As of filming this video, Dominant Industry has actually just announced a second color variant of this pen. So if you're watching this after it's been released, there are now two versions to choose from. Personally, I like this color more. I just think that this one is a very unique color and it was their first fountain pen release, so I'm quite happy to have this in my collection. With that being said, will I purchase the second pen? Probably not. And if I ever lose this pen, will I repurchase it? Probably not as well. If you're mainly looking for the best writing experience for your money, I'd probably recommend looking at some of Pilot's gold nib pens instead. Like you can get the Pilot E95S for almost the same price here in Australia. However, if you love collecting unique pens and appreciate beautiful designs or just simply want to try something from a newer brand, I think this could be a really fun addition to your collection. Anyway, so I think that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more fountain pen and stationery videos. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!